We're taking it from the group chat and we're bringing it to the podcast. So we have been texting and talking about burnout and all the symptoms or the things that we didn't think were burnout that apparently are. So here's our therapy session. Here's our sesh. And Lex, I think you should kick it off based on what you might be going through.
Well, we started this conversation by me saying I have so much pent up aggression from all the frustration I'm feeling at the moment. So I'll just start. Yeah. Okay. So obviously, as as the listeners may know,
I
if
don't
they
mean to
listen
laugh
to
at your pain,
no,
but
please do because I
I'm
need to
laughing at your
laugh.
pain.
It's almost so dramatic, it's comical right
Okay.
now.
I
Okay.
know
Go.
it's gonna feel fake. I'll just preface
Yeah.
what's been going on in my life over the course of the last 2 months. But obviously, as if people heard earlier episodes, like they'll know that I'm pregnant. I'm currently 9 months pregnant, about to give birth in like 3 weeks. On top of that, running a business, trying to like get myself set up with clients and like have coverage. And on top of that, I have an insane toddler right now who doesn't want to nap and is like out of control behavior wise. Like that's why I came into this like so frustrated because he didn't want to go to bed and it was like a screaming fight. And then like just to put a nice layer on top of everything else, we're in the middle of a renovation that is taking longer than expected. I'm sorry, Marco. Love you. But yeah, we were really hoping this would be done sooner.
Love and
And
renos don't seem to be
Exactly.
for someone whose relationships
honestly,
have ended during home renovation.
can I just say like don't take on a renovation when you're 8 months pregnant because it's like seriously tough.
It's like a piece of advice.
And then over the weekend, I texted you guys because we were supposed to record. And I'm like, yeah, our carbon monoxide alarm is going off. There's 30 firefighters walking through my house with
I'm
their
so
dirty
pissed at you
ass
for that.
boots. I know. And
Where
they were,
I didn't get photos.
I,
I
I didn't
know.
phone number. I didn't get a FaceTime of like,
A
hey,
bright
here's
spot in all this chaos with these,
30.
I assume, good-looking firefighters walking around.
most of them were, I have to say, they're all really tall. Actually, it was funny
I
because they're standing
remember.
in my house and it's like, you realize how big they all are when they're in a
Yeah.
little house. You're like, okay. Um, yeah, so we had to get a new furnace, we got a new AC, and then of course, like, just to sweeten the deal, they're like, "We're gonna have to drill through your brand new walls
Oh
downstairs that you're
no.
renovating."
Oh
So,
no.
yeah, it was just it's been an insane, I would say 8 weeks. Actually, my sister-in-law texted me and she was like, "I'm just thinking about you guys and I'm just wondering like how are you
Have you killed each other
surviving
yet?
with all this?" Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's crazy. So I will say, like, I'm definitely feeling burnout. I'm feeling
Uh,
like I'm at my
Very
max
Max.
level here of survival, and I'm about to introduce a newborn into all of this. So
Thank you for confirming for me that I have made all of the right choices by doing none of those things in my life.
Yeah.
I think I'm definitely gonna have more grays in 3 weeks for sure.
Well, I mean, I'm not going through any of those things because I chose to downsize and, I maintain the single life and whatever. But as I shared in the group chat, despite the fact that I would tell you that I feel no stress, I think I also shared that I have gotten the results of the things that have wrong with me.
Mhm.
Jokes aside, I don't mean mentally, I mean now kind of physical ailments. And I am now managing multiple chronic comorbidities, which basically means like shit that can kill you as a result of my
Ugh.
apparent stress levels. Like in
Mm.
addition to my previous ailments, like my thyroid condition, PCOS, whatever, I am now the proud recipient of the diagnosis of IBS because I'm
Oh,
apparently
no.
stressed because the food panel, other than we know dairy and gluten, yes, I'm high maintenance. My food panel's fine. So apparently the only other explanation is stress.
Stress. Yeah.
So when you say shit that can kill you, are we talking about literal shit that can kill you or stress as per the topic
Well,
of this episode?
I didn't
Isn't that
this
what
is
kills you?
possible.
You
I
could
mean, I am
physically
so
die?
stressed that I have shit that can kill me, and I'm going to spare you the details on IBS.
Oh my gosh. Literal shit.
Like, Like, I think that's probably too much for the pod, but I think so here's what's crazy, and here's where I was, like, fucking pissed with myself. We didn't know each other the first time this happened to me, but back when the Lindsay Lohans and others were going away for exhaustion, which meant, like,
Mhm.
rehab, I was
Mhm.
also, because I was so trendy and cool at the time, I was also hospitalized for exhaustion, but it was a real medical diagnosis because I had burnt out while I was working at my tech company during the day, Yahoo, and still trying to maintain my, like, cred in the music industry and working at, like, a recording studio at night where I, like, physically burnt out and had to go into
Yeah.
hospital and lived off, like, yellow Jello and the kindness of nurses for months because I was psycho. And
So what
now
is like yeah, Joe, explain that to us. Like it got so bad to the point when what happened? Did you collapse? Like you physically couldn't do anything? I think it's important
which
just for
time?
us, education, but listeners,
Yeah.
yeah, to also understand how this can manifest in really, really different ways. And for you, it seems it's really much on the physical
Physical.
side.
Yes. So, um, I said it jokingly, but I'm serious, like, which time? So the first time, because I'm an overachiever, I thought that I had a pinched nerve. It was
Right.
actually, like, the start and the warning sign of my body being like, "Slow the fuck down, bitch." And
Mhm.
then I was typing away one day at my desk at Yahoo and looked down at my hands, and they were, like, red and blotchy.
Wow.
And I
Uh-oh.
thought I had an allergic reaction, and then one of the girls that was sitting beside me started freaking out and saying that I had measles, and I'm like, "I don't have measles. I was born in 1982. I've been vaccinated, like, I
Yeah.
don't." And
Mind your
then
business.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
"Thank you." But then as it started to spread up my arm and my
Mm.
body, I was like, I don't know what I have, so I'm gonna go to the hospital. And at first at the
Man.
hospital, they were treating me as if I had some weird kind of infectious disease, and then anyway, I it turned out that I was actually burnt out, put on an IV, blah, 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 and, like, basically the diagnosis was bed rest.
Right.
So yeah, you would then think, I would learn my lesson, but
Yeah.
Laurel, do you wanna you were my, like, trauma bond through this. Do you wanna share this one or
Yeah,
should
I don't think I knew about the Yahoo one, so it's interesting because I
I don't share it with
definitely
pride. Like,
no, but I think like I didn't know what burnout was. I'm like, is this just something that people say because they're
Yeah.
like other than being high and you're just a burnout, like okay, separate
other than
definition,
being
but like
high?
you could just
Like
like
a
a
burnout,
burnout is like someone
like
who's
a
like
loser.
this
Oh,
loser,
okay.
whatever.
That kind of burnout. I was like,
Right. So
This
not
is
that, but
different.
even the stress one, I'm like, what is this definition? Like, is it just stress? Like, I don't actually understand. But when you were working at a company we worked together at, like you physically couldn't cope, I would say,
mm,
Yeah.
like, with what was going on because you took so much on and we're trying to run and the pressure was so high. And I don't
sure.
think we realized at the time, or I didn't realize that that's what it was. I think we kind of live like in our workplace where we just have to run and keep going. You want to be
Yeah.
the owner, champion this thing. I can get it across the line. But
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much it could impact you physically because I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that was the big deal where I think you fainted once. Is that what happened?
Oh my god, this was terrifying. So I was dating a fireman at the time, but he was not present when this happened. But I woke up in the morning, went downstairs, started my coffee machine and started my coffee maker and whatever, and then woke up on the floor of my kitchen 4 hours later.
What?
And I don't miss work. Like, I don't. And then I think I woke up to messages from you, Laurel, like, others, calls from, like, my boss at the time, and I had no idea of, like, I must have just, like, blacked out.
Your
Yeah.
body's
Yeah.
like, I'm done. Yeah, like
My
this
body
You
is
was
shut
like
down.
my body totally was like, "You shut down." I had missed messages from my boyfriend at the time, who was a fireman, first responder. He came by, he checked me out, etcetera, and it was like, don't know what's wrong, and me being, again, either Irish or crazy or a combination of the 2, I'm like, "I'll be fine." And then it
Yep.
Oh, no.
happened again in our office, and I was really lucky because I was standing and talking to a mutual friend of mine and Laurel's, who was, like, a personal trainer there. So when she saw me start to, like, go so basically it turned out that I was having these, like, blackouts and episodes because of how high the stress levels were
Mm.
and the cortisol and all of that. So I think, Nina, going back to your question, now that I've gone on a massive tangent, for me, it's someone who my symptoms manifest physically.
Yeah.
So for folks that are listening and you're wondering like, "Hey, do I have this?" Think of, are you one of those
Yeah.
lucky people that sleeps with a really sexy mouth guard because you grind your teeth at night? Do
Mhm.
you have TMJ? Is your
Check,
hair
check.
thinning or falling out? Or like do you now have IBS? Like what are all these things that
Yeah.
are doing
Yeah.
accumulating? Or as I was joking with you guys the other night, like the amount of money I'm spending on those stupid gold under eye patches from Sephora versus like, Nina, I think
Rest.
you said this the other night. Can you just like lay down on the couch and chill with No,
Absolutely
I
not.
can't.
No, that
What
is
do you
definitely
mean
my
no?
MO.
What do you mean no?
No, I
I can't lamp.
absolutely cannot chill out. Like and I
Like
was
ever?
thinking a lot about that. Well, I mean, I can every now and then, but it's a conscious decision that I make when I have to tell myself to just shut down,
You
shut your brain
schedule
off,
it, you schedule
and
it, don't you?
there might be like I'm assessing the time, looking at my watch. Is it 8 p.m.? Okay, cool. Now's
Just
the
like,
time for the brain to
Get
shut off.
yeah.
But I am
Yeah.
like that type of person that will sit on the couch. I'm staring around. I'm looking at like dirt on the walls. I'm looking at this pile
Mm.
that's in the corner. And instead of just ignoring it because it's, time to relax, I can't do that.
You can't
And I was
relax.
thinking
Yeah.
a lot about the genesis of where this comes from for me. Because if you
Mhm.
guys know me, I'm a pretty chilled out person. I can generally compartmentalize things. I'm high strung in the sense that I like have high
Jordan's
expectations, but
giving
like,
like a highbrow, like you're lying out of your ass right now,
You
Nina.
no,
are
okay,
not the
let me
chill
talk this
friend.
through. Let me talk this through. I don't have the same physical
I'm like,
manifestations. I talk fast, I move quickly, all that, yes, is true. I was thinking about this. So, like, where does this come from? My inability to relax. And I
mhm.
think it actually stems from my childhood. So, my dad was like a guy that was like, live life to the fullest, enjoy every single day. Every day you should get out and do something active. So, I just
Yeah.
grew up like trying to enjoy life, trying to make something meaningful for that. So, that was like ingrained in me from the start. And then my dad died when he was 64 very unexpectedly. He got a stage 4 cancer diagnosis, died 5 weeks later. And so when I was really thinking about it, I feel like I have this intense guilt with my dad still
Mm.
staying in my mind of both embedded in my childhood, but someone who didn't get to experience life for another 20, 30 years. And so I'm thinking I have to make literally the most of every moment while I'm on this earth. Not to get
Oh.
too deep, but like as I really thought about the root of like burnout, I think that's where it stems from.
Jordan's mouth is open for people who can't see the
Like,
video.
that went in a direction I was about to pile on with like, yeah, my dad was like a don't waste any hour of the, and then we went in a totally different
Yeah. Right? Like life
Yeah.
throws you different curveballs. And like I'm not the kind of person that's just gonna sit around and do nothing. But I also recognize the benefits of that. And like there's all different kinds of people in the world. So I need
Mhm.
to find that right balance where I'm not trying to get satisfaction out of doing a bunch of things because that's gonna lead to burnout. It's
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
how are you actually enjoying those little moments, even if it's just chilling on the couch?
So
Yeah.
the question to all of us, would we each say, and I now have the medical labs to prove it, if somebody were to ask you right now, are you stressed out or do you think you're on the verge of burnout? What would your answer be?
I
I
think it
think my
depends on.
answer to that question
Uh,
is always no. I think because again, I think we've just been trained that like you have to handle it. If you're in like an executive position, like you can't say you're
yeah.
stressed out. And I think this is just the normal level of operating. Like
You can
this
say
is
it to
the
your
kind.
friends. You don't have to say it to your colleagues, but you can be like, and like,
I don't even know if I
what
know how to tell the difference. I feel like I'm expected to run at a certain degree, and that's just like it is what it is.
I
expect
feel
it
like.
because you expect it, or expect it because you've set the standard, or expect it based on the role that you're at.
Mhm. Mhm.
I think it's my
Cross-examining you.
perception of what the expectation of the role is. I think like in senior leadership, you're
Yeah.
like, you can't really say like, oh, this is too much or this is stressful
Right.
or like you just have to
Pause,
do it.
please.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of disagree. I think it's like okay, but it's maybe the choice, the words you use, and it's how you deal with it. But we also grew up in an era where it was just do, 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 do. And now we have other people entering the workforce that's changing those dynamics.
Yeah, like every
So they're like
generation
younger
looks at
people are
the
also looking to us, Laurel, to actually set some realistic expectations too.
they're also looking at us and going, "You guys are effing crazy.
A
We
Mhm.
don't
100%.
want any of that." I'm gonna
Yeah.
share this with you because I was having a mental break today and I went on the gram and I was doom scrolling for a little bit. And everything is Devil Wears Prada. And I honestly can't even tell you what happened in that movie, but I did think that this like resonated. So I've got a little like meme here because we are millennials and memes basically summarize how we feel about our lives. But like the Devil Wears Prada is a broken promise to millennials. Not just because we can't buy the Prada shoes and do whatever and blah, blah, blah. But like the film became a touchstone for a generation who once believed hustle was the key to success,
Right.
but is
Mhm.
now struggling 20 years later. I will say absolutely because I was
Mhm.
like that little work monster in my 20s, thinking by the time I was in my 40s, I would be coasting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, right? Like, I definitely believe my own bullshit. I'm not saying that we invented the concept of having a fulfilling career or working hard, but this was a departure from our parents' generation, most of
Mhm.
whom viewed work primarily as a way of earning money. And then
Yep.
for online image conscious millennials, our jobs became our identity.
Totally.
So I think one, I would say like, yeah, I didn't think I'd be grinding like this at this stage. I thought like you would climb and like coast or whatever, but I think
Yeah.
the identity thing is interesting. Like Laurel, you and I were talking about this because I feel like I'm on a constant treadmill, hamster wheel, whatever, but the goalpost keeps moving.
Yep.
Mhm.
Right. What
So
do you
you're
mean
like,
by that?
so as someone who is not a runner, but like you think you've got a finish line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even like Lex, to what you were saying, I've got this task. I now have this other thing. Okay, but like once that is done, I can pull a Nina and book some chill time on the couch, right? Like,
But we don't.
but either
Yeah.
we don't, or then there's another
Mhm.
thing. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, if I'm a runner, I'm thinking like, oh, I'm gonna get to this 5K and then I can walk or I can do whatever. Then it becomes a 6, then it becomes a 7, or like
Yeah.
if I even think of like my own position this year, like, oh, okay, great. You have to hit this goal and hit this target and hit this milestone. Okay, great. You hit that. Here's another 20%. Oh, great. We're also going to and at no time, go back to our episode about learning to say no. Do we go, I've got enough. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Off. I'm about to, and like, I guess, Laurel, to your point, now that I'm on my soapbox and like a rant and I'm angry about IBS, it's like, we just think that this is the norm. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we
burnout is
totally
nothing.
do. We totally
Yeah,
do. And we also ignore the signs, like clearly, Joe,
100%. And
for
to
someone
build
who's
up
had this
that
happen multiple times. Like,
not getting the benefits of the weight loss, but can't eat anything.
yeah. To think about sort of like the definition of burnout versus stress, when we looked it up, burnout is prolonged and
yeah.
unmanaged stress. So, two really, really key words, right? So, it is the same thing as stress, but it's compounding. It's things you have not dealt with and they build up over time. And that's why it's manifesting in physical,
Yeah.
emotional, you just like blurt out all of a sudden, whether that's at coworkers or your family or your kids.
Calling
And
you guys and crying and losing my shit on you.
exactly. So Laurel, for you, you're sort of, playing the antidote here and saying that you don't feel like you have intense amount of burnout, which is amazing. Thank you for that. But where do you sort of gauge yourself on this burnout versus stress level? Like how do you know when it's just stress or how do you know when it's something more than that?
I don't know, but it's funny that you're talking about this now because I would again probably say I'm never stressed. However,
What?
in the
What?
fall, I
You'll never
You're
show
definitely
it.
had what?
hold on, stop. Laurel, you're a
What?
parent.
Yeah,
Oh,
of
How
two
are you
kids.
never
No.
stressed? Like, what? I just came out of a room with a toddler and I was like, like
yeah.
pulling my hair out. Mark
I
was like,
think my like, stress
woosah.
barometer is like real high.
It must
Very
be
low
a
pain
gut thing
tolerance, but high
because
God
stress.
bless you. God bless you.
he's always chill. Like if you ever saw, I mean, you have seen it, but like I would be having a full Irish meltdown, and Laurel's over here like, oh, let me see if I can build this Excel for you.
Yeah,
And
the Dutch are pretty straight. I could see
That's
that
right.
actually.
But one day I'm waiting for you to just snap.
Yeah.
No, but here's the deal. You're saying all this stuff about health stuff, and I'm like, oh wait, like actually in the fall, I had a bunch of I was like, I have heart pain. What is this? I think I'm dying. I must have a heart attack. And I did like a stress test. Then I
Oh,
did another
yeah.
stress test. And then I did a nuclear stress test. And by the way, you do set off all the airport alarms when you go through security, which
Oh
I
my
did.
You
God.
never suspect a tall blonde chick.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
But it's true. Like, actually, I didn't even think about this, probably because I blocked it out due to potential burnout, is that the cardiologist wouldn't say, oh, it's stress. But he basically said, I've ruled out anything that is possibly related to your actual physical heart. So do what you will with that information. So,
So they didn't
Interesting.
even factor that
I
in, which I
love
find is so
medical professionals.
interesting. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's just you come from different disciplines and the concept of stress or mental health is still relatively new.
yeah. And how do you diagnose it? Like, that's
Right.
fair. I think it's an interesting point because I know that we all kind of manage people. So it'd be interesting to kind of get perceptions of like, if we don't recognize it in ourselves, how do we recognize it in our teams? Because
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anybody on my team that's like, I'm having a really chill month. Like, just
No.
chill, coat staying like, no, everybody is like, I'm at my limit. I'm at my
Yeah.
limit. And so I do think we have to figure out as leaders, like, how do we actually identify what burnout is and
Yeah.
Right.
versus the stress to say, like, how do we identify that? Because I think one of the things is like, when people start to check out, we're like, what are they doing? Like, why are they checking out? But I do think, Nina, you had mentioned that that's kind of part of one of the symptoms of burnout is
Mhm.
that people like lose the ability to like
To
care.
focus.
So
Yeah.
they're
Totally.
just
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't. You
Well,
get to a
yeah,
point where you're like,
your
I just
brain can't
Yeah.
like hold all of that information or process it, and the natural reaction is just to shut it off.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Then you're supposed to
I-
go get a Monster or a Red Bull or a double espresso
Yeah, yeah.
or
I
take
think
some ADHD medication and make it happen.
Coming from the
the other
person who's
thing
had
is
like 3 of these burnout
it's true.
reactions. Jordan,
People
no.
Here's my
people
recipe to
obviously
success.
manifest sort of stress and burnout differently, but I think people also
Yeah.
express it differently. So I don't think it's really fair as leaders to expect people under you or that you work with to flat out just say, I'm super stressed, I can't do this anymore. They may kind of be giving you signs or asking you questions or
Mhm.
seeing if you can like delay deadlines. So I do think it's important to pay attention to like those very big declarative statements, but also like those little nuances or little
Yeah.
cues people may be giving you along the way.
I
So, as
agree.
someone who's clearly a failure in this area, I'm going to give advice that I absolutely have no right to give. But I would
Yeah.
say maybe this is a situation of like, put your own mask on first. So,
Good
like,
Point.
if you're listening and you're anything like me, first of all, I apologize. But like, if you start to notice that someone in your team is burning out, you're probably going to take something off their plate and put it on yours. When
Probably.
yours is already full and you're already like, I'm struggling a little bit here, but I'm going to take this off their plate because I'm going to be a good leader. Versus, I actually think one of the best things to do is be like, and I'm literally in real time trying to figure this out. So
Yeah.
help me out. Like, what are the things that I can actually start to take off my plate so that like I can do these things? But then simultaneously, like, I actually sent this text message to a colleague of mine today who I think is burning out because he was actually in urgent care this weekend where I'm like, you're taking Friday and Monday off. Don't argue with me. Don't like just take it
Right.
off.
Yeah.
But I do think there's an element of like put your own mask on first and then
Yeah.
like dictate to people what you think that they should do. Otherwise, I would guarantee a bunch of the people listening are going to put something more on their plate and then have like
Yeah.
Lex's list of things that she's freaking out about.
Yeah. And like burnout's not a sign of failure. It's sort of like a sign that something's wrong, something that you need to let go of. So also obviously giving yourself that mantra, but I think also
Wait,
letting
yeah, that sounds
Is
great.
it?
That
I know.
sounds great in
I
theory, but
know.
like if I burned out, I would definitely see that. Like if I
Watch
actually
yourself.
I didn't
Continue. I say over.
I would honestly think like that meant I couldn't handle it.
Right. So
That is how
That's
I
what
would perceive
sorry.
just
that.
acknowledge it and that's it, right? Like you're saying, don't kind of fluff it. Don't give me the extra talk. You rather just
No,
hear about
no,
it?
he's saying the other. You think that you have fundamentally fucked up and
Failed.
failed.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know. So this is what I'm trying to tell everybody. Like, something we have to realize is not actually a sign of failure. That's the hardest thing to accept and the hardest thing to adopt. But it's the truth.
But it's
And
Unless
that's
you
elevated
really did fuck
probably
something up.
that's probably why we ignore those signs though, because
Totally.
we don't want to admit like that we possibly not that I don't think burnout is failure. I think burnout is a sign that you're at your max and you've waited
Yeah.
way too long to do something about it. Clearly. Like if you're
Yeah.
fainting on the floor and you're blacking out, like you've ignored so many
There's a
red
problem.
flags that you're beyond yeah, like you should have anyway, my point
J.
is
Laura
that
was my medication.
yeah, you need I think we have to just be a little bit more conscious of these signals, which makes
Yeah.
it harder in this world that we live in because everybody is trying to be as busy as possible and do it well. The whole like you can have it all. It's like, no, you can't, because then you're gonna fucking die. Okay. So just like, yeah, I don't believe that it is a sign of failure. I think it is a physiological response to you having too much going on. But I
100%.
will say, I think a lot of people ignore those signs because they don't want to be perceived as being failures.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
what is
recognize everyone's got stress. You've got stress. Number one thing, accept it.
fine. So, what are we trying to say to anyone that's listening to this other than the fact that you have 4 very tightly wound, high D, high I women, one who overall overachieves in burnout? Like, what's the so what? Like, what are we gonna tell people to do? And don't pull an Emily Blunt, quit your job because we all have bills. Like, that's not
Yes.
that woman just it's right up there with Kim Kardashian's like, get your ass up and work. Like, I am. That's the problem.
Uh,
So, like, what?
I
So, what do you do?
I think for me, I don't think I would ever admit it myself. And so if I
Mm.
take that lens, that means that I need to think that there's other people on my team that would be the same,
yeah.
that they
Right.
wouldn't want to admit it, that they can't handle it or hack it.
Mm-hmm.
Versus I think I need to be more aware and cognizant of like what they're going through and ask the right questions so that I can kind of support them in it. Because just like a lot of the times, like it's easy for me to give you, Joe, advice on how like you should handle a situation like this, and then I'm like, well, I'm not doing it like that. Like like
Yeah.
I'm not going to stand up for myself, but you
Do
for
as they
sure
say,
should
not
stand
as
up
they
for yourself.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there's some of that for me is like, yeah, how to acknowledging that I react this way. How do I support my teams to kind of be like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I recognize this in you. To your point, Joe, but like, hey, you need a day off. Like, why don't you just go chill, take a day off? Because a lot of the systemic stuff for burnout is it's like if your workplace is systemically the same way,
Yeah.
as a leader, I think I have a job at trying to figure out how do I support you and break that kind of mold.
All right, Lex, what about you? Advice?
God, guys, like, how do I give advice when I'm like struggling with burnout myself?
Did
I
you
would
fall down the
say,
stairs, by the way, because you were so stressed out?
oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that. I did fall down the stairs pregnant on my ass, like slid down. Thank God it was just my foot and like my hand that got hurt. Baby's fine, all good.
I'm
Yeah, I
laughing
forgot
now
about
because
that.
we already had covered, like, for anyone watching a listing, I'm laughing now because we had already had this conversation. We knew she was
Yeah,
okay. I'm not just an asshole.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I forgot about that. Wow. I would say what helps me when I'm feeling very stressed and potentially on the verge of burnout is I'm trying to find moments for myself. So like
30
in the
firemen
more
walking through your house.
I guess it's Jordan's moment. I would say, and this sounds so stupid, but like I just in the morning I try and take 5 minutes to have a quiet coffee. I'm not on my
Love it.
phone. I don't like Romeo's playing in the other room. I try to just like have a second because I feel like if I don't, I will lose my mind a little bit. I just need my nice, delicious coffee and I need it hot and I need it to taste good just for 5 minutes. That's it. That probably helps a little, like take the edge off, but I don't really have the answer for how to
Take
avoid
moments for yourself, I think
burnout.
is good. For sure. What about you, Joe?
I clearly have no advice. Like as somebody who was so delulu enough that like as I said to you guys when we were talking about this previously, if you had asked me weeks ago if I thought I was stressed, I would be like, no, I'm good. But to Laurel's point, my
Mm,
baseline is clearly
yeah,
not
stressed.
calibrated properly, or if it's my comparison to this time last year, no, I'm not feeling the same like stress. But Nina, to your point, there's a cumulative effect. So no, I
Mhm.
can give people listening advice, but it's none that I take or none that I follow. And like Lex, I love you, and I know that you're a girl that loves coffee, but like 5 minutes is not going to solve anyone's burnout. So like
No,
what I'm hearing
it
thus
won't.
far is like we as we've said many times, we are not professionals and clearly we don't have
No.
like Nina, do you have any gems? Because I think we're like
Uh,
two
the
for
only thing
three.
Laurel sort of called out to me because her husband Darren is very similar to me and just can't chill out was
Yeah.
that your burnout, your stress impacts other people. So you think you're the only
It
one that's
does.
experiencing it, but I know because I'm like, all right, Brian, this is what we're doing on Saturday, Sunday. He's like, I just want to chill out. I'm like, okay, that's not going to work for me. So therefore, that's not going to work for you. And then I'm just thinking selfishly. I'm not, not even thinking about him. So for me, it's like you have to take care of yourself, but also realize it's impacting other people. So we don't have all
Yeah.
the answers today, but I feel like maybe we're just sharing stories that people can
Yeah.
relate to and little by little picking up maybe some wisdom or little nuggets along the way.
Yeah.
And also, like, don't ignore the signs. I think maybe that's the biggest
Totally.
lesson here is like when you're having physiological
IBS?
responses, that
Yeah.
shit, that's your
Same
body being
thing.
like, stop.
Exactly.
Okay. Stop what you're doing. Exit. We need a rest time. So I don't know. I feel like that's the biggest takeaway here.
Ask me how
Well,
much rest time I've booked.
I do want to draw the community to 2 other episodes. One we recorded prior to this on perfection, which I think stems from a lot of stress. Another one on the art of learning to say no. So please check out our other episodes list, like and subscribe. If you've got tips on how to sort of conquer stress and burnout, we want to hear it because it seems like there's going to be a future episode on this topic because clearly none of us have mastered this.
If there are any holistic wellness, whatever people listening, please help. I'm open to interventions at any time, an intervention for any of us. But I would say in all sincerity, if you start to have physical ailments, call your doctor.
There you go. And on that, ladies, we'll talk next time. Take it easy for today, please. Thanks for being part of the After Call. If this felt familiar, you're not alone. Hit subscribe, leave us a comment, and share this episode with a friend. See you next time for more real talk about the beautiful, messy chaos of life.